Hello everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and this is the third video in the series of my story, the story of my life that you asked me to share with you. And I want to start by saying, first of all, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all your questions and your responses to my first two videos. I honestly have been overwhelmed, and I don't know if anything has come from this. It is simply that this is what I do. This is what I do, and I will do this until my last breath. It is the thing that I love doing. I love this community. I love the fact that we're sharing with each other this life journey, and that we are learning together, and that we're supporting one another. It's just reinforced completely that this is my life. This is my world, and I'm so thrilled to be able to do it every single day and to share with you my perspective on things and to listen to yours. So anyway, that's the first thing. Thank you. Just thank you so much for your kind comments, your generous love and compassion. I honestly have been overwhelmed. Thank you. So I decided with the first two videos to do just a kind of a chronological kind of story of my life, where I lived, where things have happened one after the other. And in this third video, I want to answer some of your questions, and you asked so many good ones, and I want to just sit down and go through them specifically, because I think most in a way were answered along the last couple of videos, and I know that there are some specific things though that you asked that I didn't cover. It was it's really hard to tell your whole story. I mean, I know that you've probably tried this yourself at some point, but it's super hard, not just from the emotional perspective, and there certainly has been that, but also just remembering all the details. I mean, for example, I don't think I even mentioned my divorce or mentioned my ex-husband very much, and that was such a huge part of my life. And he was someone that I adored, and we had such an amazing relationship for so many years, and there were so many elements to that I would love to share. So maybe I'll go through my questions that you asked specifically. I have literally, I think there must be like a couple of hundred here, but I went through yesterday and kind of chose ones that kind of group things. There were some questions that were grouped together, same questions in different words. So let me just start. Well, Kathy says, what were some of the most special moments, my regrets and lessons you've learned along the way to shape your life? Super question, and really complicated. So moments that have shaped me, well, for sure, my mom's death. I mean, that was, I think anyone who's lost a parent young lost a parent knows the incredible loss that leaves in your life, and the choice it gives you to go one way or the other. That you can keep moving forward as I try to do, but there's lots of different things. So that was definitely one. Having my children, of course. I mean, how can you not raise that as the number one thing, or giving birth to children for me. I mean, not every woman wants this, I know, but for me, it was just beautiful. So it's perfect moments. There were meetings. There were people that I met momentarily, fleeting moments, like meeting Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. That was an incredible moment for me that did change my life. And the regrets, well, I don't actually dwell on things I've done, decisions I've made that I could consider a regret, but I could look back, and looking back, I think it was Steve Jobs that said, you can't really see the point of things in your life happening until the end, where you can see the dots start to connect. And I think there's not too many things I wish that I had done differently. There's some things I wish I had done a little bit in a different lens or from a different perspective. For example, my children, both of them went to daycare when they were very young. I had to work. I was by myself, and I had to have an income. I did not want to go onto benefits, but I think there are things I could have done to do more homeschooling with them, more learning at home, maybe. I don't know whether I would have taken a different kind of job or tried to be an entrepreneur. I mean, so I could have worked from home, but you can't do that to yourself. You can't put yourself back and say, I should have done that, because I was just trying literally to put money in the bank and food on the table. So you can't consider those things regrets. Other regrets, honestly, I can't think of any. And I mean, maybe in your own life, you can right now just think back on a regret about something, and then just say, what would it have changed? How would it have changed you? Was it really something you regret not doing, or just another path that we could have taken? So I think those are some of the things I would mention there. Jennifer mentioned, what has been my favorite place to live? Well, I mean, you have to say where you are, right? Because I do love it here in Switzerland. But when I think about places that I've loved to live, London is first. London. I mean, I was born there. I love the city. I love the energy of it. I'm a city girl. That is my favorite city in the world. That's it. Second city I love is Boulder. I think I've talked about Boulder in a previous video, but it was my home, my heart city. I loved it. I would go back there for a visit any day. The third city is Jaipur in India. Jaipur is my definite spiritual home. I have a very good friend there named Veena. She is one of my very best friends, and I've known her for 20 years now. And she reconnected me to Jaipur. So I would say that Jaipur is another place that is one of my favorite places. Let's see. Angie asked, how do I stay safe when I travel? Have I always had the confidence to do it? Well, going back to India, I never did even cover this story because it's such a cool one, but I did go to India when I was about 20. After my mom died, I moved to Boulder. It was in that period, like 71, 72. I went to India, had a few $100s in my pocket, stopped with a friend in London, another woman who had an influence on my life. Her name was Patience. She did the painting of me that you maybe can see in the distance there. I should pull it out, my painting. But anyway, India. And traveled on trains. I was wearing a sari. It was just like the most amazing place. No fear, because there was no fear. I had no fear, and the country was a safer place perhaps then. But I always am safe. I take lots of precautions. I'm a great planner. I just bought a bicycle lock because I'm going to be doing some hostel staying later in the year, and I want to lock up my stuff. And so I'm very cautious, packed light, and I think it's the fact that I moved a lot when I was a child, and we talked about that in the very first video, that's given me like a fearlessness about travel. So I'm always prepared, and I have confidence to be self-aware, and things have happened for sure, but I'm prepared, and I love travel so much that I just put a lot of effort into it. Let's see. Someone says about social media, which is kind of another fearful thing. She talks about how I overcame my fear of social media, and sort of how I make it look so easy. Well, I don't know if I do or not, but I literally, this is the truth, I threw up the first time I made a video. I was sick to my stomach. I was so nervous. And I can feel I can feel the panic attack coming on me right now, actually. It's really funny. I'm going to put my light on here. I think it's getting a bit dark. The sunshine keeps doing weird things, so I'm going to start with my light again. Anyway, so yeah, I just worked it through. And it's like everything in life, you do it once, you're terrified. You do it twice, you're like really terrified. And then the second and third, 30th time, you're just doing it like it was always there in your life. It was always part. So that's kind of how I manage that. Let's see. Pearl had some really good questions. Did I have a happy childhood? Well, happy is a relative term, yeah. I mean, I was in a very beautiful place in Canada. I think I consider it a safe and happy world. I was loved by my parents. I had, we had limitations in our life, which I've talked about, but no, I had a happy childhood. I would say yes. Did I get divorced? Yes, I did. And so my ex-husband and I were married for about 20 years, and we were together a little bit longer than that. But we met in England. I think I've told that story briefly on a train. And he was amazing. He is amazing. And I fell in love with him immediately. We had the most incredible life together. We worked at Microsoft together. It was just one of those adventures, experiences where I felt total love. I felt completely embraced and accepted and appreciated and adored. And I was 14 years older than my ex-husband. So I was quite a bit older when we got married, but we never ever thought about it. It was really just never an issue. And so you asked the question about divorce. Well, yes, it did. It changed. I think that he changed. We started looking for different things in life, and he decided that he just needed to be free of this. And in a way, he would have stayed on, I think, because he was that type of a loyal person. The children were 18 then and a little older. But, I said, no, go. You have to go and live this life that you need to live. And he moved on, and he did actually end up marrying another woman who was much younger. So the circles kind of complete themselves. And for years, though, I really did beat myself up about it, in the sense that I felt so sad and so lonely and empty. Because if you've been married for 20 years, and many of you have been married for 40 years, you just are so much woven into that life and into that person. So that's the story. Yes, I got divorced, and I've never looked for another partner. I've never even thought about it. It's just not on my list of things to do. I have lots of guys who are friends, lots of men who I really adore and who I think a lot of, but there's no particular person in my life now, and I'm not looking. Maybe one day I'll find a magical unicorn somewhere, but it's not in my plans. Let's see who else. Oh, so someone asked, same person, do I have a partner now? And I've answered that. And how did you get to live in Switzerland? Well, I think I mentioned this earlier in another one of the videos. I think it was the second one. But the story is that I was about to retire. I took on another job for a short-term project in London. When that was finished, I decided I wanted to start a business, and I didn't know what it was. And my son and his wife were living in Switzerland. So we decided to start 60andMe, told that story. And, we just decided that it was easier for me to be here in Switzerland, that I could do the videos. If you actually have been with us for some time, a lot of the videos were done in Switzerland, down by the lake. We did videos of the yoga videos, all kinds of stuff. And it was just, we needed to be together. And I love it here. I've been here for 10 years now. It's the most gorgeous country in the world, really. And it's expensive. There's elements that I don't like. It's a little boring. No one's listening. I don't speak German, so that's a challenge, but it's been a good home. So that's how I ended up in Switzerland. It was kind of just one of these things of convenience for the business, and then it kind of grew from there. Do I have a best friend? It's a great question. That was Pamela. Pamela, I do. I have several best friends. First of all, I have the community. You're my best friends. And I honestly, hand on heart, mean that. You guys are the best. I just know if I had any questions or any challenges or any fear or concern or worry, I could go to you and you would help me. I know that. I just have felt it already, even in response to these videos. So I would put you up there. And that's not being superficial or silly. It's true. My children, Nathan and my children are my heart and soul. I love them with all my heart. And I wish I could tell you more. But right now, it's just, there's not a lot of, it's not the moment for it. It's not the moment to share. But my children are my best friends on so many levels. We have been through so much together. And I mean that seriously. There's things that I will share at some point in the future, maybe, that you'll understand. But it's been a very interesting journey. They are my best friends. And then in terms of girlfriends, I've got my two friends, Maureen, who lives in Canada. She's been my friend since Microsoft days. I adore her. She's just the best friend ever. She's helped me in so many ways. And so Maureen, if you're watching, hi, I love you. And Veena, my other really best girlfriend, is in India. Veena, I've mentioned, tour guide who met 20, 30 years ago now. She's been with me through bumps and my own business. I had a business in Seattle called Passion for India. Never mentioned that in this video series. But that was during my time at Microsoft. I had a retail store for 4 years. And Veena helped me with all the products. They were all lovely textiles from India. And so that was Veena. Veena and Maureen are my good buddies, good friends. Catherine asked, what would I claim as the most difficult thing in my lifespan? Well, I think I've mentioned that, the death and divorce. Those are the two things that I've, and I think some of the things that happened with my children, there's a couple of things there that were really, 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 really difficult. But we got through. I'm here. Let's see. Well, Anne asked if there was one seminal event that brought about the genesis of 60andMe, and I did actually mention that in the previous video about the fall in Paris, the reflection after being sick and again being hurt in an incident there, and just realizing that I needed to reach out. I needed some help on this journey, and I got it. I got it from all of you. So thank you. Let's see. Where do I want to live next? That's a good question, California Glow. Well, I'm actually here in Switzerland for a while, and I think if I do move, it will be one of these 6 months here, 6 months there. I do actually long to be closer to my grandson in Scotland. I've not mentioned Jack and I, this again, a whole lovely story around that. But 14 years old now, so I've got other grandchildren. I don't know if I mentioned, I've got Nathan has 2 boys, Max and Marvel, and I see them every single day, and they are my heart and soul. I love them so much. Max, if you're watching this, I love you, darling. You're the most beautiful, intelligent, sensitive, compassionate, sweet person in the world. I just adore my relationship with Max. I've known him, obviously since birth, and we've had some special times. And Marvel, you are a little genius. He's so creative. He's so smart. He's so quirky and adventurous. And I don't know if they're ever going to watch this. Wouldn't this be fun if you guys are watching? I love you. Baba loves you guys. And, Max and Marvel, my life, besides, of course, my two wonderful, wonderful people in my life, my children. So where I lost myself there. I think that question was about the foundation of 60andMe, but it was also about my family. Oh, let's see. I'm realizing we're going over here. Do I have my favorite channels, YouTube channels? I couldn't honestly list any, but I have no one helping me with my videos. Bovan, G Bovan. I do it all myself and I love it. Birthday, November 10th. I'm a Scorpio. Will I ever write a book? I don't think so. People have asked me. I've actually been approached by publishers and I don't think so. But I'm going to close on, there's so many more questions, but I think I'll just stop here because I think I've covered everything in my life that's really, been asked quite a few times. Are my favorite quotes? Pat, thank you for asking this question. What are your 3 favorite quotes? I've got one. The first is by T.S. Eliot, and it says, "We shall not cease from exploration, and at the end of our exploring, we find ourselves back where we started, but know the place for the first time." It's in 4 quartets. I love that piece of, that reminds me of so many things as we go through life. We come back where we started, but know it. The next one is by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, told to me in a taxi driving around somewhere from place to place. And it was simply, people will often criticize in you the things that they fear most in themselves. Love that quote. My final quote, Maya Angelou. This one I've repeated a few times, but I'll say it again in closing, which is, people will not remember what you said, and they will not remember what you did, but people will remember how you made them feel. And I don't know why that's so emotional, because I just hope that you know how important you are to me and how you make me feel. I feel wanted and appreciated and loved and respected and important in your lives, and that means the world to me. And you make me feel, I feel like I'm of service. I feel like I'm doing something that's worthwhile. I feel like I'm woven into the lives of literally thousands of women who are beautiful in their 60-year-old complexity. We've made it. We've made it to 60. Now this is the time we have to go out and shine. And you make me feel hopeful about a future that you're raising. You've raised children and you've got grandchildren and you've got friends and family and people in your life that you can show a new path to aging and to a new way of living your life. You can make them feel happy and good and positive. And that's all I ever hoped for in my life too. So I hope that you've enjoyed these little vignettes into Margaret's world. I've really, truly appreciated doing it, and look forward to meeting some of you in the future, hopefully, but for virtually, just know that you're loved. Stay safe and well.